Welcome back to the Prosperous Life podcast, and thank you so much for showing up today. We're talking all about the natural progression of a relationship and how being single is actually the best thing for you. As people say it, single Pringle, and ready to mingle, right? No, it's not cool to be single in society, but honestly, I think it's the coolest thing. And no matter where you're at in your relationship, it's pretty cool to be single because it's cool to be by yourself. Single doesn't mean you're single in a status. Single is just meaning you're okay being by yourself. You love yourself. And that's the coolest thing in the world. So, we're talking all about today the natural progression of relationships, right? Single, dating, engagement, and then marriage, and then kids, and so on and so forth, right? Now, today we're focused on you, right? Because if you're right, then your relationships have a better chance. And if you're not right, your relationships have a worse chance. So with that in mind, we want to give you a higher fighting chance. I want to give you a higher fighting chance. I think I read something that divorce rates are at about 70%. And if I can minimize that for you, that's a win. Because I'm so confident that me and my wife will be together forever simply because we put each other's first. And you see, my name's Braiden Belnap, and I got together with my wife, Megan, at 16. And I got married at 19, and now I'm 23. We've almost been together for 6 years, and honestly, things have always been perfect. Just kidding. Nothing's ever been perfect because perfection is boring. Perfection means there's no opportunity for growth. And I can say confidently that there's growth on my part that needs to be done, and there's growth on her part that needs to be done. And honestly, I'll never be done growing. And I know she won't either. That's a lifelong journey. Now, the thing is, our relationship actually has really always been good. There's been times where we've been rocky and things haven't been going so well. Sure, and there's times that we've had really hard times, but we always knew we loved each other. And the moment I began to put myself first, the moment she began to put herself first, is when things just began to start going right. We were young, so I didn't have a lot of being single, status single, right? And she was 16 when we met as well, so she didn't have a lot of time being single either to get to know ourselves. And sure, we did have time in that process, and I would never take back a single second away from getting together with my spouse at 16 and married at 19. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's one of the best things I could have ever asked for. To be able to go through life at such a young age with the person you love is the best thing in the world. Now, this is for you, whether you are single, whether you're boyfriend, girlfriend, whether you're engaged, or whether you're married, or even if you're widowed. The power of being okay being alone is extraordinary. When you're okay to be alone, when you're okay to be single, when you're okay to be in the quietness of your own presence, that's a superpower. When that happens, nobody really can touch you. So with that in mind, today, honestly, we're talking about the problem that, when you're single, you should be ready to mingle, and it's not cool to be single, as I mentioned, when it's actually the very best thing that you could ever do for yourself. Now, this is going to be for you, whether, again, maybe you are single, and that's okay. Maybe you're widowed, and maybe you do want to start to date again. Or maybe you're widowed and you just want to be alone for the rest of your lives. Whatever that answer is okay, but ultimately you do need to be okay being alone. And honestly, today is you have the opportunity to simply be okay to be alone, to start to find your purpose, to find that stride, the walking confidence, right? To be able to stand up, get up in the morning, put your feet on the ground, be grateful for the day, and know that you're you. I'm Braiden Belnap. I'm unique. and I have a purpose here is powerful. So next time you get in with somebody, next time you get into a relationship, as you go through your current relationship, you're setting yourself up for success for yourself, but that is going to end up impacting your relationship. And you give your relationship a fighting chance. See, we're going to talk more about this today, but this picture right here, this will be applicable. And this is only if you're on YouTube that you can see this. And I'll picture kind of a frame and paint the picture in your mind. But this picture is a picture of me and Megan when we got our engagement pictures. And honestly, I'm a bit chubby. And I look completely different now. And Megan, she also looks different. Beautiful as always, of course. But I could choose to keep seeing myself in that frame. Your frame has four corners, 4 lines. I don't know what you call it, 4 walls. You could keep yourself in this frame, or you could get out. What if I kept myself in this frame, kept looking at this, and kept my worth at this level? Nope, not for me, and it's definitely not for you either. I want you to know that where you're at today doesn't mean it's your tomorrow. Stop seeing yourself in your old picture. Also, that goes for your relationship. If you're in a hard place in your relationship right now, know that that's not a forever thing. It's not a forever thing because your past doesn't determine your present, and your present doesn't determine your future. But if you keep seeing yourself in this frame, the chances of you still being there tomorrow are high. So begin to see yourself in a different light. Begin to see yourself in a different picture. Begin to see yourself in a different frame. Raise your standards for yourself, your spouse, and begin to live a better life. And from there, you'll begin to see yourself in different frames. It's okay to take new pictures. It's okay to see yourself differently in your mind. That way you can create better things. Now, today I also want to highlight this problem. People feel like it's selfish to put themselves first when it's the exact opposite. Today you have the opportunity to recognize that if you're 100% here for yourself, you can be 100% for your spouse. But guess what? If you're 70% for yourself, you'll probably be 70% for your spouse. And guess what? If you're 10% for yourself, probably will be 10% for your spouse as well. And that goes for your family. I mean, if anybody asks me, I want to be 100% for my spouse. I want to be 100% for my kids. I want to be 100% for my family, my friends, my community, and honestly, the world too. And putting everybody aside but me, I want to be 100% for me. I want to know I am the Braiden Belnap. I want to know that I am me. I want to know that I have purpose. I want to know that I can show up and do anything in which I set my mind to. I want to know that I can manifest anything. I want to know that when I see something, and as long as I can see it in my mind, I can create it in real life. That's the confidence I want to have. And that's a confidence I do have, and that's a confidence that you deserve. You deserve to show up 100% for yourself, and you deserve to show up 100% for your family. So let's get into this. Again, we're showing up for ourselves today. So in this moment, I do want you to think about your spouse. I want you to think about your kids and your family. And if you don't have a spouse, a girlfriend, whatever the case is, and you don't have family, I want you to still have that idea in your mind that I will have a spouse someday. I will have a family someday. 10%, 90% today, we're going to focus on you. We're going to get you 100% so you can be 100% for them in the future now. So my first question to you is, who do you want to become and what do you want to do? Awareness is the number one key to living a prosperous life. The first step, I said that wrong. First step is awareness to living a prosperous life. There's 7 steps. As I've always said, if there's a spider on your back, you don't know it's there, you can't change it. So again, on YouTube or podcast I'll explain this, but if my eyesight, let's say I can only see like 70% and I have something blocking my vision on the left side, if there's a problem on the side of that and I can't see it, I can't solve it, right? But also to speak to that, if they're on the other side of that wall is the biggest opportunity in my life and I can't see it, I also can't get it. So if you're not aware of where you want to go, and you're not aware of where you don't want to go, you'll either settle or you'll end up where you want to go, and maybe you'll end up where you want to go, but very low chances. So you want to create this awareness of your vision. Who do you want to become, and what do you want to do? If you're here on earth, you might as well become who you're destined to be and do what you want to do. Wouldn't you agree? So you have to see yourself as great before you can become great, is what I'm trying to tell you. You have to see yourself becoming a person who you want to become before you can become that person. You have to see yourself doing the things that you want to do before you can actually do those things. So you have to see yourself in a better light. So most people don't see themselves as great, so they don't shoot for greatness. Most people actually shoot for a relationship to make them feel great, which is very temporarily. And then when their spouse fails at making them not feel great, they resent the spouse, which makes their relationship not very good. So the one thing here, and a big reason why people fail in relationships, is responsibility. You take 100% responsibility. If you're not financially stable, that's not your spouse's fault. It's your fault. Go get a second job. Go start a business. Go start a side hustle. Save more money. Get out of debt. If you're not happy for yourself and you don't feel amazing and you don't feel great, guess what? Not your spouse's fault. Your fault. If you're not as smart as you would like to do, you're not your fault. Not your spouse's fault, your fault. If you don't have the house that you want, not your spouse's fault, your fault. Take responsibility. So don't just take responsibility for your past, but take responsibility for your present and your future. So again, ask yourself this: who are you today? Become aware of that. Who are you today that you don't want to be? And who are you today that you're very proud of? You want to recognize both good and bad. Because honestly, you can become more. You're capable of so much more than you are today. And if you're going through a hard time and you keep going, guess what? There's two things I want to share with you. One, you don't fail unless you quit. You don't fail unless you quit. And two, if you're really dedicated, then you will accomplish it. You must accomplish it. And you can accomplish it. It's simply a matter of belief. So who are you today? And recognize who you want to be tomorrow and who you want to be in the next 10 years, 20 years, and so on and so forth. If you can be more, you can achieve more. And I want you to remember that. If you can be more, you can achieve more. But achieving doesn't become being. The moment you bring your world on the internal and your world is external, like your outcomes happen based upon your internal world, that's a superpower. But if your outcome, your external world influences your internal world, you need to flip it from the inside out so that you can transform and become something extraordinary, become somebody that you're proud of. Now, where are you today and what do you want to achieve? I believe there's 4 keys to life. Identity, as we're talking about right now. Who do you want to be? Vision, where are you going? Mindset, do you believe you can achieve that? Do you believe you'll get there? And impact. We want to make an impact on ourselves and the world and our family. So where is it you want to go? And where are you at today? When you create the vision, your goals, and when you recognize where you're at, there's a clear gap. From there, you can recognize, okay, I need to become this person to achieve this result. and I'm here. So if I do X, Y, Z, I'll become this person. And by doing X, Y, Z, I will achieve this outcome. That's the power of these questions. You have to see it here. You have to believe it here. So you have to see it in your head. You have to believe it in your heart. And you have to speak it. And you have to do this whether you're single or any in relationship. Again, single is being so cool. Single is so cool. Being able to be by yourself, to know where you're going, to know where you're at, to know your next steps, to have your goals, and to be single and be confident with who you are and where you're going in life makes you so much more attractive. Not anybody in this world doesn't want greater things in their life. So by you being okay by yourself, by you having confidence, by you knowing where you're at, by knowing who you are today, what you want to achieve, and who you want to become, makes you so much more attractive to the other sex or the other person that you're wanting to be with. So what's it going to be? Are you going to become great, or are you just going to keep settling? Are you going to take responsibility, or are you going to keep blaming? Again, we need to look closer to home. We need to look into us. A lot of people get into these relationships, as we mentioned, to feel fulfilled, to feel great. And it's such a temporary thing when you are already great. It's just a matter of seeing that to be true. Now, you know who you want to be. You know where you want to go. You know where you're at. And you know who you are today. And you have a plan and path to get there. Now, purpose. No purpose in life, no purposeful relationships. Again, most people shoot to find purpose in a relationship. That's why they end a relationship, get into a new relationship, and they think that relationship had all the problems, and now since I ended it, got into a new relationship, I'm not going to have any problems anymore. No, you just switched their problems with a new pair of problems. You just flipped some flaws for some more flaws. And guess what? Your problems are still your problems. So your flaws in that relationship will still affect the flaws in this relationship. So that purpose will go away if you don't have purpose. That honeymoon phase, whatever you call it, will go away. Unless you master yourself first. And if you choose to show up for that relationship forever, quite frankly, just maybe that honeymoon phase can last forever. What would that do for you? Now, most people find purpose in others, and as I mentioned, it's temporary. Purpose is found within and only within. Someone else doesn't give you purpose that will last forever. You give yourself purpose that will last forever. So let's break down the 3 keys to purpose. Now again, whether you're single, whether you're dating, whether you're engaged, whether you're married, I strongly encourage you to find a purpose. I don't care if you start a business with it. I don't care if you do it on the weekends. I don't care if you do it in the evenings or in the mornings. I don't care. What I care about is you find a purpose. And what I will say is, what I care about is you implement this purpose every single day. If you just mainly do it on the weekends, you can 5 minutes a day for yourself. If you just do it in the evenings, phenomenal. Do it every evening. If you just do it in the mornings, phenomenal. Do it every morning. If you do it every single day for a living, phenomenal. I love that even more for you. But what matters is you do it every day. Purpose is every day. If something's worth doing it once a week, it's worth doing every day. If something's worth doing it once a year, it's worth doing every day. So don't close yourself off to what's out there in this world for yourself. Now, with that in mind, let's talk about gifts. Again, purpose is made out of 3 things: gifts, love, an impact. So what are your gifts? What are you naturally good at? Here's a couple of things. If you don't know your purpose, let's start here. List 5 things that you're naturally good at. If you don't know that, cool. List 5 things that you may like to try. Here's a couple ideas. Books, so reading, photography, art, medical, finance, business, life coaching, therapy, fashion, water. I could go on and on. Plumbing, electrical, construction of some sort, trees, nature. Just start to write 5 things that you may like. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take a week on each of these. And you're going to find what you naturally like, what you're naturally gifted at. Because the next step is love. You have to love it. So as you try these 5 things, you will find something, hopefully, that you're naturally good at. And if you don't, you try another 5 things. And you keep going. Again, life's long. Sure, we were dead for a long time before we're here. And we'll be in the ground probably for a long time. And in the grand scheme of things, life's short, but it actually is really long. So yes, take your time. Find something you're naturally good at and something that you love. And if you do know what you're naturally good at and you love it, phenomenal. You're already there. Third step is to make an impact on yourself first, then your family, then your friends, then your community, and then the world. So begin to serve your family, yourself, in this world in this way. How can you serve people? Again, create 5 ideas of how you can serve people. And you want to show up to do this every single day. I don't care. If you find that you love drawing, find a place, even a corner in your home where you can put a canvas and you can draw a couple lines a day. A photographer, take a picture a day. This is your life. Don't you want to live a purposeful life? Because I certainly do. And if you're living a purposeful life, guess what? You're giving permission to your kids, your spouse, everybody around you to live a purposeful life. And there's nothing more beautiful than that. Now, to kind of end it out here, I know we've talked about a lot showing up for you first, and that it's not selfish. It's not selfish. It's actually the most selfless thing you could do. Most people don't see the beauty that they hold. They hold so much. I want you to see your beauty, so when somebody else tells you, you already know what you have. You already know what you offer. You already know your uniqueness. You already know your purpose. And you accept those compliments, but you already know. That's where I want you to be. So you've evaluated, right? You know where you're at, and you know where you want to go in the doing. You know where you're at as a person, and you know who you want to become. You've understood the pleasure of showing up for yourself and the pain of not, because who wants to get a divorce? Who wants to break up? Honestly. It happens, and sometimes it's a good thing, but doesn't mean we don't want to give ourselves a winning chance, right? Now we transform. What is next for you? What are those next steps? How can you transform to be a better person, a better individual? How can you transform yourself to be happier, more fulfilled with life? How can you transform yourself so you can be a better husband, or a better father, or a better mother, or a son or a daughter? I could go on and on. But put yourself first and take action. We could sit here and evaluate and understand and transform all day, every day. Until we take our first step, we're not doing anything. So go take action. You've decided who you want to become today. You've decided what you want to do in life today. You've established your purpose. Go do it. If you decided that you want to try photography, go take a picture today. It takes 5 minutes. Go try something new. But take immediate action, and take long-term action as well. It's okay if things change. Life's a mountain. As long as you keep taking a step at a time, you will achieve the final destination. It's just a matter of achieving the step and the step and the step and the step again. Consistency is key to anything in life. So just show up for you first. And after you do all this, you're ready. So yeah, for me, it's been amazing with Megan. We've almost been together for 6 years now. 6 years on October 8th, 2022. We got married in 2018 at Wheeler Farm in Utah. And we're always growing with each other. We're always growing, but we ultimately are always growing singly first. And as growing singly first, it allows us to grow together jointly. And we have our goals together. We have our goals separate. We know who we want to become and what we want to do is together. And we have our goals separately as well, as I mentioned. And that's what has allowed our relationship to be so good. Again, we got together young, and relationships will poke and jab at your wounds. And you have to find somebody you love to do that with. Megan, of course, shined a light on my weaknesses, but that allowed me to get stronger. And now I'm the man I want to be today. And I know that I'm going to become so much more. And I want that for you as well. Again, old pictures, frames. These frames are not our walls anymore. You can become so much more. The pictures that don't look the same. You don't physically need to look like that, and you mentally don't need to be that either. You can be more. So if you change your frame, who you are, what you do, and you have purpose and you show up, your life will change. So again, where are you at today? Self and doing. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do in this life, and who do you want to become? From there, understand that it's important to show up for myself first so I can show up fully for everybody else. And anything other than that is not serving anybody. From there, transform yourself, right? You want to show up and truly choose what you need to do in order to show up for you and your family and have a purpose. And then take action, and your life will change, and you'll change the rest of your family. Now, I want to thank you so much. Again, being single is cool. It's cool to be single. It's okay to be a Pringle. And I know that's cheesy, but I'm just going with how society has taught us that it's not cool to be single, and it really is. And after you've done all of these things, you are ready to mingle. Now, that sounded silly to say, quite frankly, but that's okay. Anyways, again, thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for showing up. And if you enjoyed this, if you know a single friend, if you know a dating friend, an engaged person, a widow, if you know a married couple, that you feel that they could benefit listening to this together or separately, I would encourage you to share that with them. And with that in mind, you have a wonderful rest of your day.